Mhm.
I just click live. I'll tag
Oh,
you.
awesome.
Um,
You probably can hear the waves though. It's
yeah,
quite cool.
I can hear the waves. I can hear them. So are you in a caravan?
No, we're just staying in an apartment.
Oh, okay,
We
gotcha.
just, yeah, it's the two of us. We've got one of our daughters here last night and one on Wednesday night, but tonight we've got to ourselves.
Uh huh. I see. So tonight, I just snorted. Oh my god. See, there's 12 people here. You did too. They're coming. Well, that's cool. So you guys are going to have, well, there's no mistakes. Full moon, eclipse
Yeah,
energy, sacred sexuality, a beach.
yeah.
Could be a big night. Could be a big night. No doubt. Yeah.
Could be. Yeah, if James has any ideas, I think we'll see
What's
how we
that?
go.
If he
If James
hasn't,
has any ideas.
oh, hey, the way the energy's been, I would think that whatever's initiated is going to come from the feminine.
Oh,
Did you
oh,
lose me?
yeah, I'm back.
Oh,
It's
you're
all
back.
good.
Yeah. No, I was going
Yeah,
to
it's been
say.
pretty.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, but the way I see the energy right now, if anyone's going to make a move, it's going to be the feminine.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Morgan's post the other day and it was just so on point
What?
about um the the pull. She
Oh
spoke
yeah.
about the pull
Yeah.
that had been not been there for like 12 months and
Mm,
yeah, I really felt that. That was like obviously we're not apart, we're together,
right.
but um that we've both spoken about the energy between us and there has been a shift in this last week. And, obviously there's been a shift because of the work that we've both done, but also energetically, I think the overriding energy has actually impacted that as well. And, we're meant to be together. We choose one another. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah. I felt that pull. Um,
Yeah.
it was had some sexual frequencies in it too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It sure did.
Thank God I'm not alone in this.
Are you blushing?
Am I? I'm not blushing.
No,
Am
you're not.
I? Well, I didn't know you were going to react that way. I thought you were going to say, really? I think that I was trying to lead the conversation, but I mean, it's you and James tonight. No kids are going to be there. No pets, nothing. I mean, you got a beach over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, really, it did. It came in with the. I was like, what's going on here? And yeah, it was part of it.
Mm, yeah. Did you experience it like to get at the same time together, or did you talk about it and then you realized, oh yeah, it's there? Because it's
Uh,
obviously different for you guys because you're
yeah.
apart. Well, in the 3D, you know what I
No,
mean.
I'm sorry. I just saw this mess comment that Morgan put up. Yeah, I forgot about
Oh,
that. I was dancing naked in front of her. I forgot. It took her about 5 minutes to look up. I'm standing there shaking it all. Um, I think it did come in at the same time
yeah.
because, yeah, she was telling me some things, right? Like that she had been pulling down, and there was something behind what she was saying that was coming through. And I asked her to repeat it or whatever a couple of times, and then she said she saw me. She goes like, in that moment you got it, and then I guess it was mutual. And then she said some things which she talked about in that post, which was like not like Morgan. And so yeah, there was a huge. I say huge. There was just an abrupt. It was almost like you get to the, you know, you're on one side, as far as like whatever, and then you get to this point and you just flip the other way. It was very noticeable. And of course, the energy was very noticeable.
Mm. Yeah, it
Obviously,
was
if
definitely.
I was dancing naked. Uh,
Oh dear. No, that's exciting.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's hard to put it into words really, because the the feelings have been super intense. For me, it's been just about allowing myself to open more deeply and receive and surrender more deeply. And well, for both of us, actually. And it's releasing any of those old programs of betrayal or hurt or doubt, any of those things that have just stopped us from
yeah,
fully meeting soul to soul, which is where we were when we first met. And it's like they're just dropping away, and we're consciously allowing them to drop away.
yeah.
Mm.
I saw this meme. I can't get it out of my head. I don't even think I could share it. I had pulled it down with all the memes I was sharing, and it said, "There's only two times people don't look you in the eye: when there's a lie to hide, and when they're hiding love." And I went, "It's all love." But it's all love. It's something came in. It's like it's all love, and then it was like, and the second part of that just hit me, like when you don't look in the eyes, when you're not looking in the eyes, whether it's literal or whether it's energetically, you're really hiding love, and that's what we're hiding. We're hiding being ourselves with the person closest to us,
Hmm.
and that's a deep dive.
Yeah. Yeah. I know for a long time, like when I was in my 20s, I wouldn't look people, I didn't want to look people in the eye. And I think, there was that level of self-betrayal that was
Yeah,
going on at that time.
yeah,
And um, you know, yeah, and with James, like the thing that attracted me to him was his eyes. I saw his eyes and I was like, oh my God, I know this man. And then, there's a period where we wouldn't look one another in the eye. We didn't, we wouldn't gaze into each other's eyes, and we lost that connection.
yeah,
And
yeah.
my nana always, God rest her soul, like she always used to say the eyes are the window to the soul.
Yeah,
And
of
so
course.
since I was a little girl, she would tell me that. But yeah, when I look back on my own development, I know that those times when I was really betraying and denying myself the most was when I wasn't looking people in the eye.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. And then in a close relationship, kids, romantic, whatever. I mean,
Mm.
I don't know. It just opened my eyes.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I didn't get hung up on the first part. I see the wisdom in it. But the second part, we're hiding love. We're hiding
Yeah.
love for
Yeah.
ourselves. Like that's why
Yeah.
you see so many people coming out, with all different types of artistic expressions and whatever, right? You see it all over the place. It's like
Mm.
we're coming out, and to do that at a very intimate level is mind-boggling in these
Mm.
energies. So, what kind of music are you going to listen to tonight? That's a
I'll send
second
you a list
snort.
later.
Your playlist. Send me your playlist. Uh, James. I'm gonna have to come up with a nickname for James with his eyes. You know. You know. I think judgment has been a huge, huge factor and something that really seemed to lift in these last few weeks. Like I think what we talked, and it was like we had the same type of thing going on. End of March, 1st of April. I think I talked to James after that. We seem to have a lot of parallels, but like that part of it really feels like it's almost all gone. It's the
Yeah.
judgments. If I make a judgment, and of course this is my closest mirror, right? This is like talking to myself basically, because I'm basically talking to myself real time now. So you catch it immediately,
Yeah.
and it's gone. Where
Yeah.
it seems like there was a big watershed. Maybe it was in February, March, or something, but Does it feel like that to you? Does it feel like it's a
Yeah,
different game? It's a different reality. It's fresh. It's especially with what
yeah.
happened with this pool. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that like we've spoken about that as well, the judgment and because that's been a big thing, you know,
Yeah.
the judgment has been a really big thing. And yeah, it's like and you know, even me, I've been so I've given no energy to the external. Like I've given very little to it um for quite some time, but
Right.
I've given no energy to what's actually going on out there because it's just like I have no judgment about it. It exists and it's not good or bad. It just is. But I'm creating my,
That's
you
right.
know, what I'm doing in the light, and that's why I'm here. And so, you know, if you've got something that comes up in negativity for you, then it's okay. I'll be here for you, and I'm just gonna sit here. And I'm finding that you know I'm not going into my own story about how this affects me, or
Right.
um,
Right.
and he's not going into his story about how this affects him. And if we do go into that story, like it is so momentary, and then we have it because we've had over the years between us, we've had like really robust conversations, many robust conversations. And you know, one of us will be in judgment and
Yeah.
the other one will come back
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and that's just not, you know, it's just not happening now.
Robust.
Yes, they're robust in a different way.
Okay. If you say so. Um, but there, that post was very intriguing because so many of the comments, and there was a boatload of comments, were not just people that were in relationships romantically, but even in their own right. They were identifying with the energy
Yeah,
like there was a disconnect or a misalignment or something different in the structure the previous months or year or something, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And a couple of people came on. Somebody came on, and I don't remember who it was, but they had whatever their download was. They had actually marked it too. But, you know, and anyway, what do you?
And that's
Why do you think that happened, or what was that all about?
well, Well, I just like when I read Morgan's post, I knew that she was speaking about it, obviously, because of who she is, that she was
Mm,
speaking on it from that internal perspective as well. And
mm,
I've seen that so much in myself too. And what I'm talking about, you know, is that creator, that vessel within me is like so sure of her own ability to handle what's coming now
right,
that the space is so safe for my masculine to do and you know and to direct and to guide and yeah, and then I'm able to look at it and see that the reflection of that in my relationship too, which
right,
is, you know, that I'm blessed to have that. But I, you know, I feel like there's, and because I interact with so many women as well, like I can see it. It's so clear that the feminine is really rising. And what is it? I mean, the cosmic energies support us, um, and I guess it's ready. And also, you know, like even the mass awakening that humanity has had over the last couple of years, there's also been the programming, I think the predictive programming in Hollywood and that type of thing has been about the rise of that, the feminine too. You know, you look at the Marvel and things like that. And even in just subtle ways, we have been, even those who are most asleep, have potentially been programmed to see that the feminine is rising too, in being able to like really hold her space. And I'm here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the way you put that. It's like get out of the way. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because we're all having to get out of our way. But like the
Yeah,
masculine part, get out of the way. And I like what you said about it's okay now. She's safe to come out. She's okay with herself. It's not about what other people think. She's okay with herself. She's okay in the space. So now he can come out and be
Yeah.
himself, right? I mean, that makes
Well, and
total
you've
sense.
always said, haven't you, like she always goes first.
Hmm.
And yes, she does. She always goes first because she holds the vessel, she holds the
Yeah,
container.
that's right. Yeah. How do
Mm.
you have a new creation if you don't have a womb?
Yeah.
You gotta have a womb to plant the seed. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah. So
not
true.
trying to go back to y'all's night tonight.
Everybody will be like, come on, Todd. All right already.
I'm sorry. I just had to. Uh, um, yeah, but it's all good, and it's God. I don't know. I mean, I just remember talking to you at the end of March, 1st of April. We both went through the same thing.
Mhm.
It was like Hell Week or something. No, it
Yeah.
wasn't that bad. It was, but
Yeah.
whatever. And then, and now it's like, I don't know, man. There's romance in the air or sacred sexuality. I don't know what it is, but it's part of what's coming in. And it's not just regulated to romantic couples. I mean, I've always,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would agree that these couples are just basically physical representations of what's happening overall. You could say they're anchoring, but it's also happening
Yeah.
with individuals. But there is a Kundalini, creative life force, sexuality, whatever you want to call it. I can
Mm.
feel it. It's been coming more and more for the last few days.
Yeah, 100%. And the question you asked before about what's creating it, like if I think for myself in that last time when we spoke and I said I had the huge, I let Carly come through me in a massive way.
Yeah,
And when we've allowed ourselves to fully express the extent of what's actually coming through us, and I'm just speaking for myself, I know that that has brought me into this place of greater wholeness because it really doesn't matter what you think of me now because
yes,
I have allowed all of those expressions to move through me in the most powerful way. And I know who like, there's no doubt about who I am. And the shame, I was talking to someone yesterday, I think, and she was saying like the shame has dropped away.
yes,
There's there is no shame when you've allowed that to come through and be in your experience. Was why would you have shame? Like you've seen the deepest, darkest parts of yourself, and then in my case, I've allowed someone else that I love to be able to see that, and he's still here, I'm still here. So why? How would I have shame?
exactly. Yeah, and the the incredible thing is all of that you just said, all those parts of you that you've already explored, all of those things that you've said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. This is where you are. That's we're always looking for I'm just gonna be a little extreme, but like looking for a course, looking for a book, looking for a guru, whatever, looking for whatever. And we actually did it.
Yeah.
This is the path of mastery. I mean, knowing all those parts of you, owning all those parts of you, embracing those parts of you, healing those things, whatever you want to call it, and standing full in your power. And that's how it's done. I mean,
And
that's
then I think as well, like, then it's letting go of the fight out there because if I've done all those parts of myself, then what I want to see in the external is the reflection of that, is the result of uh, me projecting that energy out into the world, and therefore I'm going to receive the feedback from that. And that, like, that still takes a bit of training because that's where the old programs want to come in and go, you can't trust that person, or you're going to be
right,
hurt, or you need to close your heart. And it's just letting every moment coming back to, no, look what you've just done.
right,
This is this is who you are. This is how you're expressing. Therefore, this is what you're receiving in return.
right,
In
right,
return.
right. Man, two of you back to back today, channeling on the spot. So, is it correlating or tying into? People talk about purposes. I know you're already very active, but like missions, purposes, loves, passions, vocation, whatever you want to call it. But like, is it tying into? Are you like founding anything? Are you like building a foundation? Are you doing something that you're involved with where you're getting like guidance or directions? Or is there any relationship between what you're receiving and what you're doing now differently, other than not dealing with those things that you were talking about earlier?
The what I feel is I've always had in my programming, there's been a big scarcity mentality. And so I've felt that even in everything that I've created in my life, I've still felt that thread running through my life. And it impacts things. When I receive, I think I've got to, there's an expectation of me to give in return, or there's always like, for so long, there's been like that limiting of I can't fully receive. And I think what's happened for me is, well, I know what's happened for me is I have allowed myself to open to fully receiving the the joy and I guess the magnitude of what I've created, which actually is making me see even more of it. It's that thing that the law of attraction states and that kind of thing that we all wish that it could happen. But for me, I feel as though this is really here right now, and I am experiencing infinite abundance in all areas of my life, which have been there, but I haven't actually let them fully be in. And so that's what shifted for me. Probably it doesn't look from the outside, it probably doesn't look like very much has shifted at all. But within me, I can feel the strength of like foundation. You use the word foundation, like that's such a brilliant word. Like I can feel the strength of my foundation, the depth of the roots, and how big and wide the foundation is now. I can actually feel that, and I feel safe in it, which means that I can expand from
Yeah,
there with no need to project onto anyone else. That's just my foundation.
man. Whew. I hope well, the other show was like this too. All I'm thinking about is James. I hope James eats his vitamins. but but no, that's it's so cool, like listening to you and then observing Morgan the last 3 weeks or maybe 6 weeks, but it's built. But seeing what you're talking about and seeing it in you, and so when you mentioned founded and foundation at that point, and the way you had come to in the story, it was like you looked around. From what you told me, you looked around and everything that you had done was all right. It was all there for you,
Yeah.
and so immediately you start building a foundation, like
Mm.
with these pieces that have been there all along. That's what I was getting
Yeah.
from you, and I could see that image.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, that. So it's not like a death where you don't take yourself with you. Basically, these things that
Yeah.
you've created, these pieces, these building blocks, are your little creations throughout your transformation. I mean, it's powerful, powerful. You know,
I'm taking more of me with me now
yeah,
because there were pieces that I wasn't willing to take with me because I was afraid that I might have to give them away to somebody or something.
yeah, yeah. Or you were giving it away. Like I can have that
Yeah,
piece,
or I
but
wasn't.
I can have that piece, but I'm gonna have to give this back. So you're never getting anywhere. You're like dog paddling.
Yeah.
Do,
Yeah.
so I mean, it sounds like self worth, self value. I mean, do you feel like that something happened there
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
kind of a next, past an initiation or whatever you want to call it, or it's done and gone or whatever?
That's an awesome question because um, throughout this process that James and I have been through, for me, what I did was, over these past, I don't know, 3-4 months, I really I went into myself and looked at, okay, what is it that why have I called this particular experience in? And from my external masculine, why is it showing me this? And what I realized was, I need to demand more of my masculine. I need to demand more presence of my masculine, more commitment of my masculine. All those things that I was looking at James and going, you need to give this to me. I needed to give that to myself. I needed to give myself more presence and more commitment and more focus. Those really strong aspects of self that, being a mum, like, over the years, I've kind of given away, and and just what I've realized now is, and I ask myself the question, where am I overcommitting? And in asking that question, I realized that question in itself was only a symptom of the belief that I don't have what it takes to be able to live my fullest and my whole life. And so bringing more presence into everything that I'm doing just amplifies that receiving as well.
Yeah.
So it was actually the demanding more of my masculine to stand up, and that actually has created what it has in my external.
Yeah. So like your masculine,
My
Kirsty
masculine.
Lee's masculine.
Yeah.
Has
nothing outside of me.
Yeah, stepped in to do it for
Yeah.
the parts of her that were looking for it from, unconsciously looking for it from, external.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
One of the final pieces for me was, I actually listened to a transmission by Steve Noble, and he was talking about twin flames. And I was first told 20 years ago, not 20 years ago, like probably 18 years ago, that James and I were twin flames, and I didn't really know what it meant at the time. And then about another 6 years ago or so, somebody said it to us. And so in our relationship, we were actually, that was a label that was on our relationship, and we had an expectation that we needed to conform to that label in some way or another.
Right.
When I listened to this transmission by Steve Noble, I realized that I decided that we're not twin flames. Like, whether or not we were before didn't matter, because from this moment forth, we're not twin flames, because my masculine and my feminine are united within, and I am whole. And therefore, that means that I don't have a soul outside of me, whilst I know that, I know how everything is either a reflection or emanation of me. I am whole. And that was a piece for me that was really powerful, because I realized that I don't have to hold on to these trauma programs that are associated with twin flames. This is just my personal experience. I'm not taking away from anyone else's experience. But for me, it was really powerful to like disconnect from that program, because I realized it had been limiting for me, and it had meant that I was holding on to traumas that I didn't need to from this point forward.
That's right. And go right down the list. Lightworker, starseed, medium, psychic, channeler, broadcaster. Oneness is oneness. So, if you can't find it in yourself, all right, you can say it in a different way. You could say, when you find it in yourself, you find it with everything outside of you, beginning with those closest to you. That's where you'd notice it first. And maybe that's what has just happened. Maybe that's because it, you can certainly see the feminine and what's happened there, no doubt. I mean, every day there's some more and more of it. I mean, the show before this and I'm going to be on my back for the next 8 hours. But at the same time, if you ask the question, is it the feminine rising, or have the masculine and the feminine come together? Which is basically what you're saying within yourself, because you ask for that commitment from your masculine to do what you've been asking all along. You've just been asking the wrong part of your masculine experience, right? And it happened. That would have to be an equilibrium, right? I mean, there's no way that could happen unless But do you feel like through your relationship, I mean, did you feel like you were like fighting for equality, or was there, is this 50-50, and whether you did or not? I mean, how do you feel about that now? Do you even think about it? Is it even a factor anymore, or was it ever?
I was just sitting with the word of equality, because there's part of the word that resonates for me, equality, and probably the reason why it resonates is because for a long time I did put myself below the masculine in my, like, the men in my life. I put myself less important than them. So there probably was a fighting for equality, fighting for approval. And definitely when I say that, and it was fighting to be noticed.
Right.
Like, I wanted to be noticed for who I am. Like, I wanted to be noticed for the power of who I am, what I bring to the relationship, what I bring to the party, to be seen in, I wanted to be seen in my fullness. And then, so turn that around, you want to be seen in your fullness. Oh, okay, look in the mirror and see your fullness.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same equation. It's the same equation as what you just explained. Same pattern.
Yeah.
Which is the mother's lesson. It's all you.
Yeah.
It's all you.
Absolutely.
I mean, whatever this is, it's within the container of whatever birthed us. That never changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope James has been working out. No, I won't give you any more time.
I think he's actually working out right now. He's gone down.
You mean exercising?
No, he's not standing behind the screen like dancing naked. Funny though, I did have a thought last night, because I thought I'd be talking to you today, and where we're staying, there's a mirror behind the dining room table, and I thought, I could sit there and talk to Todd, and then I thought, oh God, like, I'll have to tell James to make sure he doesn't walk out naked or something.
That happened to me one time. Morgan was doing something that happened to me. I remember that.
Well,
Actually, it happened. Okay. It happened at this. We stayed with these two beautiful German ladies. There was three actually, like 70-ish, and they were just like straight. And we have these massive meals, and we just had this great experience for like a week. And then the night we were leaving, we had to get up at 4:00, and they would go to sleep at like 9 or 10. But we stayed up a little late. They made some snacks. We went to bed like 11. And so I got up at 4 and I walked to the bathroom, which was in eyesight of the kitchen table, and I'm buck naked, and they're all still up at 4:00 in the morning waiting for us to get up. They didn't go to bed.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was quite a shock.
What did they do?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You're silly.
I wet, I think I peed on the floor in shock. Well, this is a really good sign, like what's happening, and it's very rapid too. Like ever since that pull thing occurred, or the things on or around those dates, like I'm talking about like manifesting wise, creativity wise. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that comes along with that we don't always talk about. I was telling Delia on the previous show, like I'll be walking around the house just doing whatever, and all of a sudden I'll get this heart expansion, and I
Yeah.
just feel like love about Morgan or about myself or about life or whatever. But it's just so intense. I just freeze.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah. James has been having similar experiences as well.
wow.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is that receiving that I was talking about, isn't it? It's like that moment of realizing what I've got and then actually just standing in it and being present and fully receiving it. That's the energy that we feel moving through
yeah.
our body. And it's like, whoa.
It's yeah. It's like we've been like we think everything's non-physical. Like we know there's energies around us we can't see. Like they became invisible, but I think it's like we became invisible, and now we're
Yes.
reappearing. Like the way listening to you, it's like we're reappearing. And if we're
Yeah.
reappearing to ourselves, if we are appearing to ourselves fully, and that becomes a bigger and bigger term as the days go by, then obviously people are going to see truth. They're going to see reality. They're going to see, in a mirror form, and it's
Yeah.
contagious.
Yeah. And that's the amplifying of the consciousness, isn't it? We actually don't have to do anything. We just allow ourselves to fully receive and fully be, and people see it because they're ready to see it at that point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Do you feel like that you're like how everyone's got their own take on it, but like your personal abilities, like telepathy and intuition, and any type of sensitivity that you have, do you feel like that they've ramped up, or anything's kind of
Um,
ramped up, or anything new's popped in?
yeah, yeah, I do. I feel as though my has it ramped up, or is it just because I'm being more present with it? Like, yes, I feel that my intuition is guiding me more than ever, and it's guiding me to amazing places, and I'm receiving everything I need in order to continue to follow that. And like the other day, I woke up that morning and I asked, okay, I want signs for this specific thing today. And literally within the next 2 hours, two things had dropped in that it was so obvious to me which way I needed to go. And I went that way, and everything just unraveled from there. Um, and I feel like I've always been intuitive, but haven't necessarily honored it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm, I think it's that combination, like the masculine and the feminine. I'm honoring it more, and it's coming in more. So,
Right.
yeah.
Makes sense. And so, I mean, as a result of that, if you just went, okay, this is where I'm going, like this is where my life is heading to the best of my knowledge, where I stand right now in presence, do you feel like that's like right before your eyes, like right in front of you, like something that can be done? You talked about the doubts going away and the judgments and all that. Do you feel like you're going to realize your dreams?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Like we're going on a holiday in July. We haven't been on a family holiday for quite a long time. And, um, and just with all the uncertainty and all that kind of thing. And I've actually like I've done plans, which is totally not who I've been in the last 20 years anyway. Like I've not allowed my masculine to kind of do that, because my feminine has been like, oh, but what if this happens, and what if
Right,
this?
right.
And so I've not allowed those plans to actually sort of be there that tangibly for quite some time. And I know now that, yep, I've put these little markers there, and that's part of the signs that my future self is placing before me, to know that when I arrive, that this is where I am. And I'm doing that moment to moment, which is giving me more confidence to be able to do it into the future as well. Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool question, because I hadn't really
I
said
can
it that
relate to
way.
that, not to the depth that you are, that you present. Well, that's what you do. We have this thing. I love talking to you, But so it's like I can relate to what you said. These markers, I recognize
Mm.
these things and go, oh, I know I stuck that there, so I would remember. But not
Yeah.
like it's refreshing to hear what you're saying because I hadn't thought about it in a while, but now I know to look for it again. And I love what you say too about it's all really there. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's like that whole we became invisible, now we're reappearing thing. It's all
Yeah.
there. Like
Yeah.
what you were saying about, like where are you headed now? And you're like, you're building this foundation and you looked around and all those pieces were there. That's, it's all me. It's all you, right? And you just start,
I'm seeing more of myself.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. 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 And I'm seeing the signs. I'm receiving the signs because I'm ready, I guess. I'm at that point where I'm ready to see them,
Well, obviously,
thankfully.
obviously, and this is all good, I mean, but because it's a constant change, even though this feels like we just came out of the chrysalis state, we just came out as a butterfly, basically, kind of energy. But the energy, like between you and your partner, like like you said, sometimes you didn't look and there wasn't, there's all these different, especially after you spend a lot of time with somebody in these energies. What's that look like? Because obviously she goes first, and is he reacting? Are you noticing anything? Is he chasing you? No, that's probably too personal. Is he like, I didn't mean, but is he like going, hey, because I talked to a friend the other night, and I can't go too deep, and they've been together longer than y'all have. And she pulled me aside and she said, I told him straight up. Like she had never heard herself talk that way. He had never heard her talk that way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I said, well, what happened to him? And she said, he just stood there with his mouth open. He couldn't say anything. And then he told her, he said, I've never heard you. I didn't know you had that in you. Like he was in total shock.
Yeah.
And I know we see different representations of this, but
Yeah.
with everything
No,
that's happening, you would think that the connection will show more of itself. Which, if it's
yeah.
what got you there, those pieces that you find when you go look to build that connection or build that bridge or whatever, they're actually all
Yeah.
right there. So it sounds like it'd be a pretty quick process. Anyway, I don't
And
know.
and I resonate with your friends because, in our process, to him I was, I want this, I want this, I want this, and to me he was, I want this, I want. So there's this vocalization process that comes, which is the energy moving within us, and we're actually, we're getting more clear because we're hearing ourselves say, like, really specifically what it is that we want in our relationship. And so even though, like, if he can look at me and he can say, I want this, I want this, and I can sit here and go, well, I've actually been giving that. And then I do the same, and he goes, well, I've been giving that, and maybe I haven't been giving it here. And I say, well, maybe I haven't been giving it here. So we both, in me speaking it, I get to hear it, and he gets to hear it. In him speaking, he
Yeah,
hears it, and I hear it. It's like,
yeah,
and so, yeah, there is an amplification, and we've had the same thing. Like he will say, I've not heard you say that in that way before.
hmm
You know, I've not. I've not I've not seen you do this in a very long time. And
hmm
whereas I will know that I've done something, or he will know that he's done something, but we haven't necessarily seen it because we haven't been on that path of wholeness, complete wholeness, I suppose.
yeah, and not as a judgment,
Yeah.
just as the you know, it's I love it. The pieces are there. Those are the pieces.
Yeah.
We look at them as like like a something we don't want to associate with. That was the cycle, but it's actually these are the pieces. The gold is the experience, and the experience carries shadow, and it carries trauma, and it carries stuff that isn't even between us, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's so there's all this stuff, and then yeah, I, And it goes both ways too, because these conversations that you're talking about were like second, third level, even though it may seem something real simple. Oh, talk to people, but there's so many other things playing out, especially if you have kids and you've got careers and the whole nine yards. So I love that though. We founding, because it feels like we're building something new, no doubt. Like everybody's like just on it, like something happened, and you build it with the pieces that got you there, right? Yeah. Like, because it's not the trauma, it's the translation of the trauma to power and energy, right? Yeah. Love, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that last night with our eldest daughter, with Abby, because we were saying how neither of us had a relationship role model. So we've actually created our relationship in a way that we'd never observed. Like, we didn't have people to show us how to do that. Like, James's parents were different. My mum was different. And so we didn't have that there. And so, but now we're also going, well, we're not expecting you to have the same relationship that we have, and having to allow them to open to what it is that they want and keep building that new thing. Keep, like James said to Abby, your Nana is the way she is because your mum kept challenging her. And I said to Abby, yeah, and I am the way I am because you keep challenging me, and I'm allowing you to keep challenging me, and therefore keep on building and keep on creating something new. And that's the process of evolution, is we keep opening to new things.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy because the more you appear to yourself, with each step, it's immediate. It's immediate with those things closest to you. It is telepathy. It's something. It's like a joint mind or something changes the whole field, because there's none of that stuff going on. Because you just wiped it all out by appearing back to yourself, or pulling all your pieces in, or pulling enough pieces in. I don't know. But it's definitely gone from an individual to two, or like in your case, 4 with the family. I mean, it's definitely has an immediate impact. And I think that's the marked change since this pull period, which was what, a week ago?
Yeah, definitely. It was about, last weekend, I started to notice a big shift. Last weekend.
Is it over yet? Is it over yet? I'm just wondering, I don't think it's over yet either, as half my body's lit up. I don't know what's going on. I've been getting a lot of, on my feminine side, I noticed in the last week.
Yeah, okay.
So
mine's been really intense too.
Oh, it has? Yeah.
Yeah, my left side.
So in the energetic field, if our feminine stepped in and all that became irrelevant, and she looks at herself and starts picking these pieces up, right? And starts energetically. Now, our masculine got out of the way and standing over here, and as and he's getting his own whatever. But so now that whole thing you said that. Yes. Well, of course. Yes. This is the womb. This is the this is the what is it? Field of dreams, right? So he's been standing there, and it's like you said. He can only go off of what he is. And so, again, there's only that womb. So he sees himself or whatever it is. And then he now can step out there. And that's the point of where I was going with the question is, what the hell's going to happen now? Like, so the dude part of us is going to come to the party, and he's going to get to be himself. He doesn't have to worry about what other guys think. He doesn't have to worry about performing. He doesn't have to worry about, he can be just as free and just as childlike. And just as silly and just as loving and just as ferocious and just as fucking all of it, right? And yet we're coming together people have been talking about the last couple of years. The one of the, I'll just paraphrase it, but like one of the big signals or signpost, back to your point, is a collaboration in a real equilibrium, where people come to the circle and create from the same intention and an open heart and that field that.
Yeah.
And it's sexy.
Yeah. And it's fun. Like we all need more fun.
Absolutely. I've been having a blast the last 3 or 4 weeks putting up these funny memes. And I'm having a blast. I'm laughing my ass off the whole time. I go back and I never check notifications, but I check them now since I've been doing that. I've tried so many different things over the years, and I never check the notifications because why? But I'll do it when I see the laughing face so I can read it again. And they're not all great. They're not all perfect, but there's some funny ones. Like that picture of the two elderly people that are running off a pier into a pond or a lake, and they're buck naked, and they got socks on, and it shows them at the moment where they're holding hands, and their hands are in the air, and they're about to land in the water, and you can only see their backside. You can only see, and there's no words, and you can only see their backside, and they look like little newborn. She looks like a newborn baby, all with all the rolls and everything, and he's all like but you can't see their face, but you can see their smile.
You can see, yeah.
And
that's what we'll all be like when we're old.
And it's multidimensional. It's like kiss my ass. Well, that's the way it works, though. There's like multiple streams coming in. It just happened to be on the last show. It happens to me when I talk to you. It's multiple streams, and you understand them all, and it's like really happening. Like, holy shit! Because it does mean kiss your ass, and you can see the smile on their face, and you can see the other parts of the coding or message.
Whilst at the same time going, all right, what's going to come next? Like, far out.
Yeah,
I
right.
know all of it. What am I going to know next?
Right.
Yeah, this is not going to end.
Yeah, and there's just something about the what you said too earlier, because we have distracted ourselves with things external, and a big part of that's been the world, the world, and but there's something about what you said at the beginning, and you were talking about like you've experienced all that, and
Yeah.
you're over here, you're it's you. And so there's something about that all that fuckery, what we would refer to as, it's not even, it's like disappearing. It's like, it's strange because the deconstruction is energetic. And, you can see certain things like through subliminal or subtle, but if this keeps going for people like you and everyone, these personal experiences of being present, or like you're saying, appearing to yourself, coming back into visibility where everything else is visible, or however you want to put it, then this is going to be a hell of a year. I actually think this month is going to be fantastic for some reason.
Yeah, I think it's the same. Well, it's the 17th, so like we're almost at the end of May. It's just
Oh, I know.
incredible.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and what you were just saying, like, that's how I feel it is disappearing. Like I'm not giving it relevance,
Yeah.
and therefore
Yeah.
it's not there. Somebody else might hear me say that and go, "What are you talking about?" Like, I'm a realist. Well, I'm a realist too.
Yeah.
I'm a realist. I'm an ideal realist, and this is what I see, and it's amazing. It's awesome.
And tomorrow it's going to be, those labels are going to be in the twin flame trash basket.
Yes.
Well, but but really, I mean, that's a great example. Okay, because let's say it's hunger or other things. We can pick a million things. There's something about a person that doesn't look at that and say something's wrong. But at the same time, that person in time is going to realize that the only thing keeping me over here is guilt. There's something else here. It's not about that.
Yeah.
And I think, you start removing all that stuff. And I don't think it's being removed. I think we're pushing this, all the fuckery out, everything.
Yeah.
Like just listening to you and watching Delia, watching Morgan, watching the physical representations of the energies that's occurring that we're talking about, and then considering now to see our masculine walk into the ring and actually get to be himself, which he's never been.
Yes.
Because he didn't know it was possible until the dreamer dreamed herself into it, and now he can go make the dream. And this is what I think is happening with like the builder or the creator or the the maker part of us, which is masculine.
I love that. The dreamer dreamed herself in. Yeah, I'm going to use that.
I pretty much got that from Morgan, I think.
Yeah, thanks, Morgan. We'll roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like, and I have no idea, none, how this will occur. But I really believe more than ever in this moment that all of us will be together somewhere, whenever we want, or something. I can't really put my finger on it, but like I know I'm going to be standing next to the two of you. Not on a night like tonight, but maybe. But no, there's just. Huh? Oh my God, we're gonna have a Ray J, Kanye. What is it? Kim Kardashian, Ray J. Well, that's funny. We laugh about this, and I've had this for the last few days. I don't know why it's coming in, but I'll be damned. But it's like, how far does it go? We will know everything about each other. We will come to grips. I mean, I guess it's going to go all the way. I guess we're going to be like those two old people. We're going to get to the point, okay, we've seen enough. We know what we did. And we're just going to run into the lake with a big smile on our face, holding our beloved's hand, telling everybody kiss our ass if you don't like it.
Well, that's it. But when there's no shame, it doesn't matter that we know everybody, that we know each other intimately, does it? Because we're all the same.
That's right.
So, yeah. And also, I was just thinking when you were talking, that's not from a flighty, oh, everything's wonderful perspective.
Yeah.
It's like, no, all that shit can exist. I'm not going to fight that it exists. And I've been there, and I knew that I was staying there because of guilt. I can see that it exists, and I'm just going to allow it to exist because I know that it doesn't hold any power anymore.
Right.
Because what I've got, this light is so much brighter and so much more powerful.
That's right. And it's wild and crazy and strange and not quite as frightening as it used to be. But not frightening like shaking in your boots, but frightening as in, wow. This is happening fast. I mean, this is moving fast. I mean, it's coming in hours. Of course, it has been eclipse and full moon and all that. Well, I won't keep you. I won't keep you from your night with Jaime.
It's only 10 a.m., Todd.
Oh. Let's see, it's 7:00 at night over here. Well, I don't know how early you Australians get started. I have no idea. Morgan just put up a comment that we need to have a date night, so something must be in the water. I'm not going to complain. I was dancing naked 2 days ago. Of course, the whole world knows. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not trying to be funny, but there's something happening. I've felt changes in my body, but we all have.
Yeah.
But there's some kind of Kundalini stuff going on that's just,
Definitely.
It's not. Well, it's not been a distraction for me, but it's not going away. So,
Yeah.
that sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And that's the thing as well, is to not treat it as a distraction, to know that it's going on and
Yeah,
just go, okay, this is going on. So I'm not going to be distracted by it.
yeah,
How am I going to integrate it? Yeah, we've been having the same conversation.
yeah. I'm sure.
You,
Could be a long day over there. Um, living, ordering room service for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a midnight snack. Oh my God, this is fun. Yeah, I was telling Delia real quick. I went to see my friends that live on top of the mountain, and they were having a crawfish boil. Their relatives were up from Louisiana, and they brought all these crawfish. And anyway, I met this couple, really, really interesting couple, about 70 years old, live on the mountain. And when I was standing with them, and without getting into the context of the conversation, it was just frequency. I was seeing purple aura. Like, I don't see that very often ever. It's just rare. And they both had it, and we had all this conversation, and I could see like this, almost like a triangle between us. But anyway,
yeah, wow.
the Kundalini energy went up my feet, up my legs, like into my root and sacral, and then kind of like a firecracker sparkler, kind of like up my spine a little bit. And I'm just standing there going, holy shit. And it was like my soul was just telling me, hey, this is happening. Like
Yeah.
they were carrying the frequency, and I was near it or familiar or something, and it just went boom. And I was like, whoa.
And they didn't have to do anything. They were just standing there.
No, all they did
So,
was they said, they said, well, I had asked her, I said, I met your husband. And that woman looked, and her face morphed to Morgan's twice, and his morphed to mine once. So there was some weird shit going on, and I wasn't doing
yeah.
anything. I had a couple of puffs,
Yeah.
but that was about it. I had just walked up. And yeah, and so I said to her, I met your husband, because I was told that he was a shaman, and he looked like a shaman. And she said, oh yeah. And then she looked right at me and she goes, we've been through a lot in 42 years. But it wasn't from victim consciousness. It was what you were talking about yourself. It was her standing there with all her pieces with her beloved and telling me this. And that's when it first really started to light up. And then he walked up, and the first thing he says to us, our auras are purple. I'm like, what the fuck? I need to get the hell out of here, or I'm going to drink for the first time in a long time. I ended up getting the hell out of there, like it was,
You knew it was it.
but yeah, so that, love is real, right? I mean,
Yeah.
love is real.
Love is real.
I
Yeah.
love you, and I love James, and I love your
I love
daughters,
you
and
too.
I miss you, all of you.
I love chatting. It's very fun today.
Yeah. Well, try to try to have a good day and a good afternoon. And I know there's a lot of teenage frequency, frisky energy in the air. Morgan sending me notes, telling me the sacral got activated last night, and yeah. So, go have fun. I'll see you later. Thanks for putting up with me. Oh, did you freeze? Ah, here we go. Okay. Bye.